Hey everybody, welcome to Aniki, the podcast about anime with two brothers. I'm Ben.
And I took over the Twitter feed.
You sure did.
Yeah.
In spectacular fashion.
We tweet things now instead of it just being the episode every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is what it used to be. Now it's a lot of train gifs.
It is. Why? Explain
Why
that.
is it train gifs?
Yeah.
Well, should we explain it now? Or we'll keep it a surprise until we're ready for our transition.
Oh, I get it now.
Toot toot.
Toot toot, indeed.
I really just want to name this episode Toot Toot, motherfuckers.
I don't think the SEO will like that.
No, I don't think so, but it'd be funny.
Well, it's been a while. What have you been up to since last we spoke?
I watched anime.
That it? Did it get too cold to do anything else up there?
No, I mean, you say cold. I mean, it's still like, what, 80 back in Indiana?
Not anymore.
Here about a month ago, it turned 40 degrees, and it's now going to be 40 degrees and rainy until...
Ever?
Oh, April, May,
Okay.
June. It will be 40 and rainy from now until we go back off of lockdown.
Fair enough. So what animes did you watch?
What did I watch? Well, I watched a show we'll talk about in a little bit. I watched SNAFU.
How is SNAFU? Because I tried
have
twice
thoughts on SNAFU.
I tried twice to watch it, and I couldn't get past like episode 2. It was just too. It was too much.
Fine. It's fine. It's not great. It's not awful. It's fine. Season 2 is definitely the best season.
Mm-hmm. How many are there now? 3?
There's 3. There's 3, and that's the end of it.
Well, at least it has an ending.
Yeah, it does have an ending, so that's nice. The ending's almost completely unearned. If you want thoughts on SNAFU, you can pretty much read the live tweets of me watching SNAFU on our Twitter.
I think I actually read those in the airport on the way back from the islands.
I did have a very good SNAFU meme that I enjoy quite a bit.
Oh?
I think it's clever.
Which one was that?
It was this one. I think it's very, very correct.
Girl who loves you for you, Ikigaya, and horrible knot of emotional complexities and family drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, he says.
Ooh.
Looking at the wrong one.
Yes, please.
I mean, I did come up with the official ranking of all of the girls from SNAFU, and it is 100% accurate.
I thought there were like 3 main ones.
I mean, there's really just 2 main.
Oh, are there more?
I mean, there are more girls in the show, but I mean, there's the main love triangle, but there are others. But I did have the definitive ranking for sure.
And who's best girl?
Komachi, obviously.
Is that the redhead or the other one?
No, Komachi's his little sister.
Ew.
Not for an OTP pairing. Oh no, she's just the best, she's just the best girl in the show.
I'm gonna say you've gone off the deep end there.
No. It's Komachi Ebina, which is the person who's super into yaoi. Yui Gahama. No. First I have the teacher, and then Yui Gahama. And then Totsuka, obviously. And then Yuki Noshita. And then way down in trash tier is, of course, Ishiki, who is trash.
Sad trash waifu.
She's trash.
You should add them to my waifu list.moe.
I mean, I suppose I'm sure they're already there.
They are, but you can add them to your trash list.
Oh, Ishiki is my trash list? Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's fine. The show's fine. The second season's definitely the best out of the 3. Though, if you hate inefficient meetings, season 2 will hit you right where it's real.
Is it just a meeting?
No, but the student council of their school has to coordinate with the student council of another school, and they run student council like they think meetings are run, which is all about synergy and open ideas and just buzzword, and they don't do anything. They just spout off like corporate buzzwords at each other. It's very funny, but a little too real.
That is #too real. That reminds me of the time a friend of mine was like, man, you really liked Akagi, and you liked the spinoff of that, Kaiji. You love Kaiji. Remember that guy, Tonikawa, who was always like coming up with games? He has his own spinoff show. He's a big gangster dude, but he's like he's like the COO of the gangster world. And the whole show is his crazy boss gives him ridiculous things to do, and then he goes to his minions, and they have meetings on how to do those things. I tried to watch it. because my friend was like, "This is so funny. I love every bit of it. It's so great." I'm like, "It's also hashtag way too real."
Way too real.
And if I'm going to spend 8 hours in meetings, why would I turn around and watch a show about another dude having the same meetings I just had?
8 hours of meetings.
So I couldn't get into it.
I mean, that's legit.
Did you watch anything else?
I mean, that was mostly it.
You had like 4 weeks, man. You only watched SNAFU?
One was 26 episodes and the other one was 36 episodes. I mean, that's a lot of anime.
It's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I've been playing lots of online games, like, I mean, Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst Us. I've been playing a lot of Phasmophobia.
That like Phantasmagoria?
Phasmophobia is the sweet ghost hunting game. It's very good. It is a lot of fun. It can be quite spoop.
Do you like spoops? I thought you were watching that witch show.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh.
I do have a 2-reel video of Phasmophobia because it's an indie game. It's made by like literally one guy.
Mm-hmm.
He buys all of his assets and he does the programming. And it's in early access, so it's known for some bugs.
You know, that happens. That's delightful.
I don't know why the sound's not working on mine, but I know how it is. Part of the issue is that it's made for like VR and PC, so it's a little weird. Because the arms only work if you're in VR, because then they replicate your arms. The spotch on the avatar that things interact with is like the face. so whenever you like use the computer, you're like shoving your face into it, and your arms stick out like straight in the back. It's great. Very ridiculous. They'll fix it eventually, I'm sure. But
at this point, it's a feature.
I know, right?
That's your signature trait.
It kind of is. And you were on a beach sipping alcohol.
Yes, I was in Jamaica for 2 weeks. We were only supposed to go for 1 week, but then COVID hit, and the airline was like, "Please don't cancel. Please, we'll give you money." I'm like, okay, so we got an extra week out of it. I kept track. Nice. Would you and the audience like to guess how much rum specifically, not rum and Coke, just the rum? How much rum in total over the 13 days I was there I consumed?
Now, is this in dollar bills, or is this in like milliliters or gallons or oil drums?
We were on an all-inclusive, so there were no dollar bills.
Yeah.
So it's purely fluid ounces and or gallons.
And or gallons. I don't know. I assume a lot. Like, I'm thinking at least like what? Probably two bottles worth a week, so it's four sort of standard bottles.
So that would be,
I don't know how much that would be.
Well, a bottle is 750 milliliters.
Sure.
So that would be what, 3 liters total?
I guess so.
How much is 3 liters in gallons? 3 liters to gallons.
I use American units.
That is 0.8 gallons. You're so far off.
Oh.
Try again.
Over or under?
You one more chance. I want to tell him.
I mean, I at least need to know, am I over or under?
It's over.
It's over?
It's over.
Oh
yeah.
Well, LDD. Oh no, as in my guess was over, or the response is over?
The response is over.
Is over. Oh wow. Then I'm gonna go with 5 whole gallons.
Oh man, now you overshot it. No, it's 2.2 gallons of rum in 13 days.
I mean, that sounds good to me. Rum's good.
Now, I will give the audience a pro tip. If you go to an all-inclusive resort and you are going to partake in some adult beverages, adult
libations, please.
You're going to imbibe in some salacious libations, then I highly suggest buying a container of electrolyte powder from Amazon and taking that with you.
Yes, no, I see. Yeah.
Now, the best solution would be you take Pedialyte with you, but that's super expensive, and it mostly comes in liquid form, which takes up space. It's heavy. It's liquid. Sucks for airplanes. Take the powder, and you drink an ounce of that for every glass of whatever you're having. And guess what? 0 hangovers. It's fantastic.
You did it. You cracked it.
I have succeeded at life. And then I came back and worked 80 hours. So,
well, half of that was pretty good.
So that happened. I have been playing WoW, sort of.
Well,
we
that's
sort of
unfortunate for you.
We were playing WoW Classic, and my wife, she tried, And I mean,
classic kind of sucks.
It does kind of suck. And we ran into the sucky part of it, which is level 30.
Yeah.
Everything just started sucking and grinding, and it's just sad. So she went off and started playing Final Fantasy 14, and I decided I was just going to check out WoW again. And you know what? I've been having fun running around at whatever top level is now, 50 something. They squished all the levels again. Going to all the old dungeons and raids and stuff, soloing them just to get prettier dresses.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's sort of where I was in late stage WoW. It's
a fun thing to just do. I don't have to think about it. I press 4 to blow up the boss. It's great. And I get a pretty dress out of it.
You collect mounts and pets. That's what I would do.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I did try to play Final Fantasy 14. I got to level 10. It's not the best.
Well, it's a Japanese style MMO. They work it just very differently.
I can see the appeal, and I may keep playing. We'll see. But it's too complex for its own good. That's what I'll say about that.
I mean, that's kind of JMMOs.
It's like every 10 steps, like, did you know you can do these things? I'm like, I can't even remember what you just told me. So, sure, why not? This city's too big. Why don't you click this crystal to jump to the other side of the city? Could I just run over there and take like the same amount of time? No, we got to go through this menu. Okay, sure. Why not? Bring them all the menus.
There you go. Infinite submenus.
I think the sad part is I know that Final Fantasy 14, when it first came out, was so hilariously bad. And the menus were so awful that after a certain amount of time, they're like, we can't hotfix this into a good game anymore. We've gone beyond the pale. The only way to fix this is to do a full rewrite, and it will break all of the characters. So
yeah, I remember that. That was like the first expansion pack.
Yeah, so we're just gonna blow it up in game. It's an event now. We're rebooting everything. Lol. And what they came out with is usable, but I wouldn't say it's good.
Oh well. They love you.
Yeah. But I haven't had time to watch anything. So this will be interesting. Would you like to talk about some interesting demons and those that slay them?
Toot. Because Mugen Train is now the 7th top grossing movie on the planet for the year of our Lord 2020.
7th, you say? What's above it?
7th. I don't know.
Probably Bollywood. Let's be honest.
Possibly. Well, probably stuff that came out before the pandemic, right? I still think one of the top grossing movies of the year is that very terrible Dr. Dolittle movie that came out in January.
I haven't thought about that one in a long time.
Nor should you. It's very terrible, but it might end up being one of the top grossing movies of the year simply by nature of all of this. And I did just gesture to everything.
Yeah.
So every time it breaks a record, I like to post train GIFs. I found some pretty good train GIFs. I mean...
I don't doubt it.
I think they've been pretty good.
Is one of them Thomas Tank Engine? And if not, why not?
Yeah, one of them's Thomas Tank Engine, the guy with the Thomas Tank Engine hat beating somebody up. Yeah, of course.
Good.
Come on.
So this time, we have decided to take a look at Kimetsu no Yaiba, or Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer,
Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Kimetsu no Yaiba. Yeah.
What
That's
does
like
that?
Way of the Blade. It's like Way of the Blade.
Is that what that means?
It's like the dedicated to the sword.
I mean, he is.
Blade of Demon Destruction. Yeah.
So this is one of the biggest properties to come out in the last 2 years.
Oh, huge. It's ginormous. It blows everything away.
Which is honestly a little surprising because it's a shonen. Yes, shonens are always popular. And it was done by UFO Table, so that sort of makes sense. But for it to just take over everything.
Part of it, from what I understand, has a really strong female following, which has been really helping it.
I can see why.
I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that it is not built like a standard shonen. It is built much more like FMA, where it's like actually like a story. It doesn't have your standard just like increase of
power.
Yeah, it's not just now this guy has 5,000 power points and the next guy has 8,000 power points. It's not doing the standard increase of, because throughout pretty much the whole first season of Demon Slayer, I mean, all the demons he kills are mostly are kind of around the same echelon of power. Mm-hmm. He doesn't he doesn't have to train for forever to come up with some new secret technique. No, he just has to fight them. It works way better that way.
That I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but that is true for the first season, yes.
No, I mean, for sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of first season ends in basically a training thing. And again, like you can do that. It's just when it's just like every single thing. Also, it goes through the whole first season without a fighting tournament.
This is true.
Like I really thought at the beginning when they were like, and now you have to do the freaking like test to see if you can become a real Demon Slayer. I was like, oh, here we go. Here's the fighting tournament.
No, that's later.
Like, no, he just kills a dude. You're like, oh, okay. There's a fighting tournament later? Don't tell me that. That's sad.
Sort of, kind of. I'll tell you about it later. Anyway.
Probably not a real one. Probably, it's not going to be a fighting tournament a la every other shonen on the planet.
This is true. You are correct in that regard. So I'll do full disclosure here. Like I said, Islands, 80 hours of work. I didn't watch this. I watched it last year, and I did not like how it ended in a cliffhanger, so I just read the entire manga.
I mean, that's fair.
And I think when the first season ended, the manga was like maybe 20 to 30 chapters away from the end. So I followed it week after week until it ended. So
it ended earlier this year. And that's one of the things that actually keeps me invested in the property, is because so many shonen, like, you just know are never going to stop. And this one's just like, oh, it's over. Good. That means I can get invested in this property and these characters because I know it will go somewhere.
So this will be interesting because
but
you have the perspective of you just got into it. You just watched it. I have the perspective of I know which characters to me were the most memorable because I can still remember their names and what they look like.
That's fair.
Now, there are a lot of characters, obviously.
There are, yes, but by the time you hit the end of the season, for sure. But like most of the first season / the only season that's really out, like you haven't met any of the whatever their names are, the 9 best Demon Slayer dudes, whatever their names are. They really don't show up until the last 5 episodes, 3 or 4 episodes, I guess.
Yep. So overall, what would you say of what you saw of Demon Slayer season 1?
Well, I like it a lot. I think it's a little long in the middle. It's really solid. I wouldn't say it's as good as FMA.
I mean, that's a high bar.
Yeah, but it's in that tier of shonen, right? Like it's hard to even say that it's quote unquote better than a My Hero Academia. Because My Hero Academia is very good at what it's doing, but this is doing something kind of fundamentally different. And I tend to prefer this over that. This is telling a far more discrete story. The animation is something else, though. The animation is just spectacular. And the style's great.
I fully agree with everything you said. I'd like to add some. The style and the animation is some of the best I've seen out of anything in a while.
The way it uses, it really knows how to use CGI to supplement animation.
And I'll link it in the show notes, but the original reason I watched Demon Slayer wasn't because I was enticed by the story. Not because I thought any of the characters looked cool. I saw a GIF from the first episode, or maybe the second episode, because they were aired roughly at the same time, of UFO Table's use of CGI in his water sword technique.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
phenomenal.
Okay, I have to see what this is about. Because if they're just going to blow that kind of money on he's doing a sword move, I got to see this. And I was not disappointed.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's not like the animation showcase of, say, Mob 1 or Azuken, but it's technically brilliant in what it's doing. It's not being artsy like some of those other shows are. It's just being
Mob and Azuken are built around set pieces and look what we can do. Here, the art style serves a function. Yeah. It's very functional, so it just sort of slots into the rest of the stuff, and it doesn't really call attention to itself other than when it happens, it just heightens the whole scene.
Yeah. One of the brilliant things I think it does in its animation is it will do fully CGI characters, but it almost always does them in far shots or medium shots.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as jarring as when it occurs in, say, a transformation sequence in Precure or like High Score Girl or something like that.
Or Zombieland Saga.
Yeah. Where it just is like, oh, now we're doing this because you can animate a dance better.
Yeah. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not like immersion breaking.
Because they hide it well.
I think the big strength for Demon Slayer, as far as story goes, is it is self-contained. It knows where it's going. It knows the story it wants to tell. There are a ton of characters for you to pick and choose your favorites, and they all play off of each other. On the other hand...
Except Zenitsu, he sucks.
Well, we'll get to him. On the other hand, there are very few characters, because it is a shonen, so it's sort of handicapped by its own genre, that have much depth to them. There's like...
I would agree with that.
Three, maybe three. I'm being generous here with three. Really, there's like two that have any depth. Everybody else, they have their role, they have their personality. There you go. You're good.
I would agree with that. FMA has far more depth in its characters than Demon Slayer does. I wouldn't go so far as to say that a bunch of them are two-dimensional, but the characters in it, they're very Harry Potter-esque, where you have a couple characters that you can tell that we actually are supposed to care about, and then we have a ton of tertiary characters that are fleshed out enough to fulfill their role, but they're not good at doing anything besides that, and that's fine.
It does play into the narrative, because the narrative is, in a nutshell, there is a big old demon that looks just like Michael Jackson running around, and he is spawning lots of other demons, which may be very, very strong, but not as strong as him, or they may just be run-of-the-mill demons that will slaughter normal people, but if you're skilled enough, you can defeat them, and there is a core of people who want to slay demons, hence they are the Demon Slayer core.
They're called demons. They're really Oni, and really they're vampires.
Yeah, 6 1, half dozen the other.
To be honest, it's very similar to JoJo.
You know what? You're kind of right.
I'm very correct.
Because it's very
similar to JoJo 1 and JoJo 3.
It's all breathing, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's very JoJo.
It is
and
JoJo.
The bad guys are all vampires or have been turned into vampires or granted special powers by a supreme vampire lord.
It's all JoJo.
Oh, yeah.
It's the ultimate JoJo
it's very
reference.
JoJo. Yeah.
Anyway, what I was going to say is the characters being one-dimensional isn't that bad. It's not that big a deal, because they are all still pretty unique. But because this is a snapshot of a piece of a overarching war, and you're watching soldiers, it's like they're all very focused on doing their part. So it does play into the narrative structure. So you can probably get past it. It's not deal breaking.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, and there's a reason why it's super popular. It's because it's obviously not deal breaking. I mean, and what it lacks in character depth makes up for in sort of character flamboyance, where, I mean, the character designs are just off the chart. Again, very JoJo-esque. They're just very over the top, unique, different.
You know exactly who you're looking at anytime they pan to pretty much anyone.
The styling of the show is excellent. Just excellent. And the work as a whole.
If you haven't seen it, I think we both can easily recommend you go watch season 1. Probably the movie too, if you can find it.
I think it releases in the West early next year.
So. Oh, that far away. Boo.
Mugen Train.
Boo. Toot toot.
Toot toot.
Well, now the train is going to enter the spoiler station. So let's talk about some spoilers. Where would you like to begin?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a show that's spoilable, but it's so...
Well, I can spoil literally all of it.
Linear. So. I know. It's just a very sort of linear
type I got to remember where season 1 cuts off. I think it's at the train.
Season 1 cuts off, right before the train.
Right before the train. Okay, so half the characters on the character page wiki that I'm referencing, so I can remember who everyone is, don't even count.
I was super worried when they said train, because I was like, oh no, is this going to be like the train from Tower of God, where it takes 500 billion years? And thankfully, no. It takes one movie.
I'm looking at this page because they've actually got pictures. Like, I know you. Like I said, I'm bad with names.
Oh, I do love the twins. They're very weird.
So let's start with our characters here. And we got a main group of 4. Well,
Yeah.
really 3 in a backpack. So
3 and an adorable Oni.
look, you got a box lolly, whatever.
You do have a box lolly.
Let's start with our main protagonist, old Tanjiro.
I will say that I love the first episode where it's just like, and everyone loves Tanjiro because he's just such a good, helpful young man who has nothing go wrong in his life ever. Like, oh,
Guess what?
bless your heart. I know where this is gonna go.
It actually goes a whole lot darker than I was expecting, honestly. I thought it was going to be like his parents die or something. No.
Oh, no.
His whole family's been massacred.
Everybody.
And his favorite sister has been turned into a demon that wants to eat him.
To death.
Yes.
Vampires. They're just vampires. Just consider them all vampires. It's the easiest.
They're cannibalistic vampires.
Unfortunately, none of them hop.
They hop a lot.
Well, they jump around, but they don't.
They jump around, but they don't hop, he says.
I didn't have my arms out. That Chinese hopping vampire hop.
I know what you're talking about.
Come on.
So Tanjiro, he has some depth. So he's one of the characters that has some depth. But he doesn't have a ton. He's your typical shonen protagonist. Good guy, heart of gold.
He's a good kid. He does.
He's a good boy.
He's a good kid. He just wants to make his sister better. He wants to de-vampire her.
That's his only motivation, which I think is good. Most shonen guys want to win, either to prove something to themselves, become the most powerful, catching them all, etc. He's just like,
no, none of this.
Whatever. If it makes her better, I'll do it. That's it. And then I'm done.
Like, I'll do whatever I need to do to make my little sister no longer want to eat me to death. And, goals.
Those are some good life goals. But beyond that, he does have doubts. I like the fact that he's not overpowered.
No, not at all.
Especially not in the first season.
No, he doesn't have any.
Do you want me to spoil anything from the manga? I won't spoil the last.
I mean, you can, because I'm probably going to read it here in a bit.
I mean, it's pretty predictable. He will get a power up, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, by the end of the first season, he can do the weird fire thing.
So that's the power up. So he does learn his fire dance thingy.
Yeah.
And that's it. But he can't do it very well. Even if he can do it well, it's still limited in what it can do.
No, it's good. I like that. He doesn't just like go up this stupid power curve of just like, I learned some new secret technique and some other new secret technique that's specifically good for this one fight.
Yeah.
It's like, now he's got his freaking 11 water skills and his cool fire dance. And you're like, that's it. That's how he's going to win. It's like, good, nice.
And you definitely see this in the first season, and it just keeps growing as a, I guess, trope of the series, where Tanjiro he's the main guy, right? He's going to win because it's a shonen. That's how shonens work. I feel like the author knew that you were expecting that. And I'm not saying he was subverting expectations, but for most of the fights, like, you do have a demon slayer core. Let's have other people fight other demons a lot. And they also win sometimes. Sometimes they don't. So, Tanjiro pretty much has plot armor. A couple other characters as well. But usually, especially once we get past the train, he's over there. And we'll cut to him often. But we're going to follow some other people too, because other people are also interesting. And they may or may not win. There's actual tension.
Oh, that's good. That's a good trick. Again, it's a very FMA, right? Where it's just like, well, there's your main two, and then like there's some other characters that are a lot more up in the air of whether or not they're going to live or die.
Exactly.
Like this is a good way of doing this.
Like Mustang. He's a main character, but he doesn't have plot armor. He's not on the cover of the DVD.
No, he may not make it to the end. We don't know for sure.
You don't know. Actual tension. See, that's good.
Yeah. Same thing with JoJo, right? It's like, main JoJo's going to live, but he's got a bunch of buddies, man. You never know when one of them's going to get got.
I think Tanjiro probably shows the most character depth that you'll see up until the last arc, where he is in that in the butterfly mansion, recovering from yet another series of what would normally kill most people.
Oh, yeah.
But he's actually having self-doubts. Up until then, I think in his head, he thought that, like, he's the chosen one. but he's been brought down to Earth again, and he's finally realizing that, whereas his two companions are still living under that delusion. But he's realized, you know what, I do have limitations, and I'm gonna have to work damn hard to try to get past those.
Yeah. He does not have the all might, I can just win. I have a can just win button that what's his face has in My Hero Academia. He's like, no, I can try my hardest and still die, like he almost does in the Spider arc. Where it's just like, I did the best I could do. I even had this new secret technique, and I didn't actually win, and I could die here.
Yep.
And that's good.
It is good.
Therein lies drama.
All right. Let's go on to, in my opinion, best boy. And that's Inosuke.
Inosuke is a pretty good best boy. I'm not going to deny it. I do love how he is actually secretly hot. That's a wise choice.
He's very pretty under that pig
secretly
head.
Hot boy. A secret hot boy. Who doesn't love this?
I mean, he's got those abs.
He's like Skeletor. He just likes fights. He likes fights.
He likes fights, and he likes the best fights, and he wants to be in the fight. Why isn't he in the fight?
Only the best fights.
Why won't you fight me? Come fight me.
Please with the fights. Please me and you in the fights.
He is one of the one-dimensional guys, and
yeah, he likes fights.
He does have like one small arc where he's like, oh shit, maybe fights isn't the best idea.
maybe not fights, and then by the end, fights.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fights anyway because fights. Why not? He is insane, so he's got that going for him.
Literally raised by wolves, I assume.
Who knows? Nobody really knows. Yeah. He has some backstory. I guess I don't remember it. He's just nuts. He wears a pig's head. He has some swords that he has taken chunks out of because either A, he thinks it looks cool, or B, it's actually effective. And given that everybody laughs at him when they see his swords.
Well, I think it's because he has huge guts and wants to rip and tear.
I guess that makes sense.
And saw blade swords are going to rip and tear.
They will rip and tear.
Because he's got huge guts.
Did I mention he's really pretty? Because he's really pretty.
He's a hot boy. He's certifiably hot boy. You know Sai from Hikaru no Go? He's a hot boy. He's a hot boy.
I just like this picture of him. When
his come hither.
The caption to this picture is Inosuke trying to instigate a fight.
It's true. I mean, it kind of is.
I mean, when is he not really? But he's hilarious. He does get a bit irritating now and then because he really wants to fight.
I mean, he can't get as irritating as Zenitsu. It's impossible.
Well, we meet Inosuke before we meet Zenitsu, don't we?
I think no, Zenitsu's first.
Oh yeah, you're right. We meet Inosuke at that crazy
the
wood mansion.
I liked that. That was a good fight. That was cool and unique. I liked that one a lot.
Yeah, the one where they're flipping the room upside down.
Yeah, it was good.
When Inosuke's by himself, he's pretty cool. Let's talk about worst boy now.
Zenitsu, he sucks. I thought he was going to be good because I was like, his character design's cool. I like his attack theme here in the thing. And when he gets that little bit of character development, it's like, okay, I like this character concept where he's very bad at every technique but one, but he's very, very good at that one. The problem is he is the worst.
He is, in fact, the worst. Now,
I can imagine him being a little bit better in the manga because then he doesn't have to be yelling all the time. I mean, he can yell all the time in the manga, but I don't have to hear it.
That's what I was going to say.
It's like there's a big difference.
You don't have to hear him. You can skip his lines. He does have... The problem with Zenitsu is he is a coward. He's a crybaby.
And all of this is fine. It's just that it reminds you of this fact constantly.
He has that one ability where he goes into like this Zen-like trance and he gets like super serious. So you think, man, this guy has probably some PTSD. He's really repressed whatever this technique is. And you think when this first shows up in that spinning room fight, like, shit, this guy's going to turn out to be a badass. He's got to find it within himself.
I was hoping.
He does have PTSD, and for good reason. Does he ever change? The answer is
it no?
I'll neither confirm nor deny that, but I think you can guess because you just did.
It's no. Well, that's annoying.
It's no.
I was kind of hoping he would change after the Butterfly Mansion and train, but if he doesn't, then that's disappointing. I like his pet sparrow.
I mean, they all trained. They all get better, but personality-wise, it is a shonen.
No, that's disappointing.
He doesn't get the slice of humble pie that the other guy gets.
Upsetting.
Tanjiro.
He just needs a little better, because I like his character design. I like his character sketch, but he needs to shut up for 2 seconds.
I think the worst part about him is the fact that he's the worst kind of man you can think of. Yeah. And he leches on every single woman like he deserves them. That's the part that just rubs me just all the wrong way.
Oh my.
Oh my. He's an incel. That's what he is. He's an incel with a sword.
He kind of is. Now, I will say this for Zenitsu's sake and the shows is like, yeah, he is also the Lech character, but the Lech is never, Zenitsu is never as bad as the Lech character in, say, My Hero Academia. I would take Zenitsu over Grape Boy any day of the week.
I was about to ask, which one's that?
Oh, yeah.
Great Boy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. No, Zenitsu's way better because like he wants to date all the girls. He doesn't want to strip them naked and lech at them.
You are
like
correct.
Great Boy
he wants to marry them.
He wants to make them a proper lady. He's gonna and marry them.
He wants to take you on all the dates and show you all the sunsets, but at least keep your clothes on.
Yes. So he's got that going for him. But yeah, no, unfortunately he sucks. I wish he didn't. I wish he was better, but
here we are.
They lovey.
Okay, now let's talk about best overall character, in my opinion, and that's Box Lolly.
Yes.
Nezuko.
Nezuko is the best. She also loves her brother and all of humanity. She is her brother's keeper.
She's probably the deepest character out of everyone, and she says
for both show
nothing.
Yeah.
Which is delightful.
Like at the beginning of the Butterfly House arc where they're like, I'm going to try and prove to you that she will try to eat people. And she doesn't because she's good.
She thinks about it. She thinks real hard about it.
Oh, yeah, she wants to.
She is always internally conflicted. And I mean, it's pretty ham-fisted, but that
yeah, but I mean, it's a shonen.
It's a shonen.
And it does have to be a little over the top.
No, this is meta. My favorite thing about Nezuko is that she has a proper VA who is not just someone else who's playing a female character in the show. She has her own VA who was paid for 26 episodes to go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Good Nezuko.
But yeah, she has no lines, but she is adorable and she's extremely strong-willed. And my favorite part, she kicks Zenitsu in the face a lot.
Yeah. She's probably one of the strongest fighters in the entire show.
Also, she fits in a tiny box.
She can fit in a tiny box because she can shrink down and be ittle-bittle.
And a basket. She goes in a basket.
She can go in a basket and she's ittle-bittle.
The best. Also, she's freaking terrifying.
Yeah, she is.
So she was turned into a demon at first. For the first couple episodes, she is either unconscious or being tied up somewhere to keep her out of trouble. I think she's knocked out at one point for a long, long time while Tanjiro is doing his training. I forget his name, but the guy that made Tanjiro his first sword, it's never really explained, but he got some kind of herb into a little piece of bamboo and strapped it to her mouth, and somehow that pacifies her stronger basing instincts to eat and kill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of it, I mean, it's just a bit, right, to make it so she doesn't bare her teeth in a very real and literal way.
Yeah. But her powers occasionally manifest in the first season, especially towards the end, which is, while the spinny room fight was pretty cool, the end of the spider fight, while really annoying because the guy kept talking, the end of the fight, that was...
Oh, man, episode 19, I think. I think I even tweeted it where I got to that episode and I was just like, holy shit, this episode.
I know, right?
It's so good.
There's no bad part of that episode except the spider guy kept talking.
It is most excellent.
Nezuko's best girl, obviously.
Faux show.
Well, those are the four main characters.
Those are the ones you really care about. Those are the ones you really follow.
There are some other very interesting characters that I would like to touch on, but to really talk about them, I'd have to talk about why they're awesome, and that doesn't happen until much later in the series. So
yeah, like I really
I'll
like
skip over those.
Tsuguko, right? This almost mute butterfly chick. She's really cool, and she seems like she's going to be very, very interesting.
Kano? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure we're going to get there, but I liked her a lot. But she's pretty much just pokes in the end of season 1.
I do like her boss, Shinobu. Not only because
Shinobu's cool.
Not only because she shares the name with best girl ever.
Shinobu.
But she is the other character that has a lot of depth.
Yeah, no, she's really cool. I mean, both of them do.
And I really can't tell you why.
Yeah.
But she's, of all the characters aside from Nezuko, she's my second favorite. And she has one of the best character arcs in the show.
Nice.
Shinobu
I mean, that's good to look forward to. I think the show actually does a really good job with its female characters being a shonen.
It does. None of them are objectified except by Zenitsu. But what are you going to do?
Well, but everyone, it goes to great lengths to show you that Zenitsu sucks. So. One of the other things I really appreciate about the show is how much it's about sort of like finding humanity in your villain and in enemies because of how human all of the Oni end up being. And like one of the cool things about Tanjiro is how he does see all of the Oni as human.
He does.
I mean, he will kill them all, but he realizes that what they need is redemption. It's very much a show of redemption.
Exactly, because all the demons, even Muzen, the chief demon, all of them were humans at some point.
Mm-hmm.
They've all been corrupted in one way or another by either lust for power or desperation or sometimes just bad luck.
Yeah.
And
twisted desires in the fact of like Rui.
Yeah. And the demon core proper is all about kill them all, get rid of them, slay them. Whereas Tanjiro is like, I know we gots to, but it is real sad. Like, look how they ended up. Them. That is nice that we actually have like demons and enemies that you kind of feel bad for, even the worst ones, like the hand demon guy. And you meet him in the very first arc where he's finishing his training. You're like, man, this guy's just straight up evil. Look at him. And then Tanjiro kills him. And it turns out this guy was just a pitiful loner dude who he just wanted to have a leg up. And he got enticed and then he couldn't control it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, and one of the nice things about it is it really does show it's like the Oni cannot like be redeemed without like a true death. Like they've got to, the Oni part of them is too strong for them to be able to sort of come back from that for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you do have to die, but there is a death's door redemption that many of them get to go through.
What about Muzen though?
I mean, we don't know much about him by the end of first season. We know he's got like a wife and kid, so that's weird.
He did have a wife and kid, or has a wife and kid. Both?
We don't know. He may have killed them because he's a lady by the end of the season. So I don't know.
He is many things.
So
I don't remember what was revealed in the first season. So I don't want to talk about him too much. But he is legit terrifying.
Yeah. No. And he seems very interesting. He's a good like final boss villain.
He is because he's got to have a weakness. That's how shonens work. And he's like the big bad immortal dude. To kill an immortal, you got to find a weakness, right?
Yeah.
But the way they find his weaknesses is really interesting, and how they exploit those is a nice breath of fresh air.
Oh, that's good.
His motivations are seemingly complex, but under all of them, it's still just a lust for more.
Yeah.
Not really power. It's just more. He's greedy. He's avarice. Which may be another JoJo reference. Who knows?
Maybe. I am interested in learning more about him because he's an interesting villain. Your villain has to be one of your more interesting and complex characters.
He is very mysterious, and they play the mystery part really well.
I mean, that's good. Not much else. I mean, one of my favorite villains was definitely Susumaru, the girl with the balls.
That was a very interesting way of how they figured out how to kill her.
Yeah.
And I think that's another strong point is all the main demons that they fight, especially the lower ranks and the upper ranks. None of them can be just outright sliced and diced and there you go. You got to
They're extremely hard to kill.
There's always a trick and you got to figure out the trick. So it's not just a fighting anime. It's also a puzzle anime. You got to do both at the same time. Think on your feet. I liked as much as the main spider dude just drove me up the wall, the rest of the spiders were pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, it was a good gimmick, and I liked the sort of story of them as sort of an arc.
Yeah, Rui was really annoying though.
He got a little annoying. I'm also interested to learn more about Tamayo.
Tamayo,
the one she's the doctor demon that says she can cure Nezuko. So I'll be interested to learn more about her.
She is quite interesting.
At some point.
Yushiro will continue. That's her assistant. Will continue to be exactly as he is.
Good for him.
Because that's how he do.
It's how he do. You don't think it'd be like it is, but he do. I also want to meet all of the Hashira. They all seem very interesting. I mean, even if they're a little one-dimensional, I do want to kind of see their movesets.
Yeah, how many have you met so far? Two.
I mean, we've met all of them.
Oh, yeah, because they were all at the thing, right?
Yeah, you meet them all at the end, but I mean, you don't know much about them. Mugen Train is the flame guy.
Yeah.
And then...
But you've really, really met the water dude, Giyu.
Yeah.
You met him at the start.
Giyu and Shinobu. But that's about it.
And then you just met the Ubuyashiki family, so...
Yeah. Yeah, and they'll be interesting to learn more about. I mean, what's nice is that the show has mysteries, and unlike many shonen, where you just know they're never actually going to get around to answering them because they want to make infinite money, this one you know they will, because it's over. You'll
learn most of the mysteries, but it does a good job of setting up some mysteries, like any good book, of that wasn't really important to the main plot. It wasn't something that we called out explicitly, and it was just this tangential thing that you might be wondering about. You can continue wondering about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
The mysteries that you are worried about, not anything in specific, but the ones that you probably will worry about as you watch it, they will most likely be resolved. But it leaves enough doors open where you can speculate about the broader world, which is nice.
I mean, good, because that also leaves room for spin-offs, both the author can do.
Yep.
And they can do some other things with it.
Absolutely.
It's well worth watching. It lives up to its hype.
Hype train?
So it's
toot toot.
Toot toot. I mean, it's good to see a show that's super popular and you can watch and be like, okay, yeah, no, I understand why this is so popular and why it's so good. It's not like My Hero Academia is very popular. It does deserve popularity, but it's also like, it's just right now's hot standard shonen. And you're like, okay, this will die out like Naruto did in a couple years. And it's not like, all of the light novel crap that's around where you're like, oh, this is super popular because it's got a girl with titties.
That does make things popular, though.
It does make things popular.
For some reason that sells. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but certainly it does. Like shows with really long titles, like my teen romantic comedy went south expectedly, or whatever its Japanese name is.
Mm-hmm.
Went wrong as I expected. That's it.
Well, what do you want to watch for next time?
What do we want to watch for next time? We could watch Castlevania, but I hear is good this time? ?
Is there another series out?
No, it's Blood of Zeus, which is made by the same animation team, but actually has action throughout, from what I understand. It might actually be good. We could also, if you want something short, we could do Burn the Witch, because I did watch Burn the Witch. It's just 3 episodes.
Was it good?
I mean, yeah, it's worth watching.
So next time, we're going to watch Burn the Witch and burn at least one witch. If not all the witches, how many witches will be burned?
I think there are 2 witches, and neither of them actually get burnt.
Wow, spoilers. Come on now.
Spoilers. It's more about dragons than witches, but...
Ooh, dragons and witches.
Dragons and witches,
okay,
it's true.
Before we watch it, though, I need to know at least one spoiler.
Yeah.
How big are their hats?
Oh, I mean, in the hat department, it is severely lacking.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's severely lacking in the hat department. I will admit this.
Can they really be witches? Do they at least have hats?
They have hats. I don't think they do.
Then how are they witches? You gotta have the hat.
They're witches. They got little wands.
You gotta have the broom.
They got wands. They got brooms. Well, they have little dragons. They're like their brooms.
So right now you've described the dragon rider as a pern with a stick.
Yeah, all right.
witches.
It's fun. I think, to be fair, I think it does start slightly in media res because it's actually like a follow-up to a short form manga that was done. But I mean, you can kind of figure it out. It's not hard to figure out what's up.
All right. Well, guess we'll burn some witches next time.
Burn the witch.
Burn the witch. All right. See you guys later.
Bye.